Hello, and welcome to the Beyond Average Journeys of Growth and Increasing Value interview series. I'm Kristen Carlson, your host. Today I have Jen Conkey. She is the identity architect, author, speaker, wealth circulator, and commercial real estate investor. It is a mouthful, Jen. Welcome.
It is a mouthful. I guess I like to stay busy.
Yes. So, share. You said you have three businesses. Tell us a little bit about you and your businesses.
Sure. So I started off in real estate back in 2002, but let me back up even more. I started off as a manufacturing operator making driver's side airbags a long time ago, doing some assembly line work and just kind of started working my way up. I was in corporate America for 22 years and about 10 years of it, 12 years of it, I was doing real estate on the side. And the reason why is because, well, I was raised by two different schools of thought. You know, my dad was very much, hey, make sure that you have a 9 to 5, go get the 6 figures, do the American dream, go to school, college, house, all of that. But I also had this example of my uncle who was an entrepreneur, and I saw him just thriving and having fun, and he got to hit his creativity all the time, and he was always in his zone of genius, and I really wanted that, but at the same time had some internal friction that would be going against the family mantra of no, we do things that are secure. So I started building my portfolio in real estate back in 2002, doing single family home flips, then rentals, and then into plexes. And that basically for 12 years, I started doing that while working my 9 to 5. It was about 2015 when I realized I can't do this anymore. I had twin 2-year-olds, had just been going through a divorce. And I wasn't the one that was the primary taker or caretaker for them. I went to work every day. And so now I'm like, I've got these 2-year-old twins. I've got to figure out how to provide for them. So I started to figure that out while I paused my real estate. But I realized at the time I was only seeing them for like an hour and a half a day. And that wasn't good enough for me. I wanted more. And I also looked and realized, you know what, I could actually live off of my cash flow and I don't need the job. If I actually made a decision and had faith in myself, I could go do real estate full time. So that's what I decided to do. Is October 23rd, 2015 is when I retired from corporate America after 22 years of climbing the wall, the corporate ladder, find out it's on the wrong wall.
Yeah.
And I went full out into real estate investing and built a portfolio. And then I met my wife right now. Her name is Stacy. And we just started buying apartment buildings together. She had already been doing it. So I was learning from her. And we were doing joint ventures. Then we went into syndications. So we've built this massive portfolio of doors. We have about 2,500 doors plus a motel, self-storage, mobile home park. That we've really diversified our portfolio. And I realized that I was at the top of what I call my first mountain. And when you're at the top of your first mountain, you're like, what's next? I've already achieved financial security. I'm doing what I want to be doing. I'm helping other people. And I realized that there was an opportunity to start another company, capital company, where I could feed capital to the students that we were training. So we created a real estate investing academy and a capital company that fed money into those deals so that I'm a wealth circulator. I bring them the money for their deals, get cash flow, get return for the people. And then, I do speaking and I have my own business where I do one-on-one coaching. I take on about 6 clients a year in my Ascension Collective, and I just help them identify an area of their life that they want to supercharge. So I've got I've got my own real estate portfolio, my academy, and my capital company, and that all feeds itself. It's kind of like a wheel, if you will. And then I've got the one passion project, like I get to go help people because I built this over here. So that's why it seems like I do a lot of things.
And so what's the one passion project?
My passion project is taking 6 souls every year on Ascension. I have an event called Become Unshackled. I have a book called Become Unshackled where we identify what are the limiting beliefs you have that are holding you back from getting the life that you want. And in business, there are a lot of limiting beliefs. So I usually find about 6 entrepreneurs that are looking to go to the next level, take it to the next level. They're already making 6 figures, but they want 7, or they're making 7 and they want 8. And so I recently took on a 3-year contract where I'm taking a company that's making about $4 million a year. They want to get to 60 mil a year. And so I'm coming in and I'm helping them. You got to get your mind right before you get the strategies right. But that's my passion. That's what I love to do.
Awesome. And you have plenty of time to do that because your other businesses are running themselves, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's quite a trail, if you will, a journey, if you will, to go from a business operator when you're first starting and then finally getting to the point where you've hired a team and now you're a true business owner and you're just meeting with that team on a weekly basis to check in, look at the KPIs, how is it performing? And sometimes, when things like interest rates go into a hike, then I have to get back in there and just, okay, let's make sure we adjust here and there and then get back out. So it's more of a consultant role in my own businesses so that I can stay in my zone of genius, which is just helping people. And it's not easy to do. It takes years.
Right? But it's,
Yeah.
yes. So from your learnings as a kid and thinking, we got to go to school and go to college and get a nice career in the corporate world because that's secure and safe. And then discovering there's this whole other world out there and it's pretty exciting to not follow that path. I mean, what would you tell kids these days? Or do you have that opportunity to plant seeds in kids in high school and middle school?
So I have 4 kids of my own. The main message that I have for kids is, I'm going to go back to another story. When I was 10, I was walking home from school and I had a bag of Doritos in my lunch and I had pulled it out and I was starting to open it. And there's these teenagers on the corner. Now, this is like 1984. And they're smoking those funny cigarettes, if you follow, and they were really hungry. And I could smell that that's what was happening. And all of a sudden I heard, hey, little girl, how much for that bag of Doritos? And I was like, what? $5. It was 1984. $5 was a lot of money back then. I could have got the chips for 45 cents, And so they gave me $5 and I gave them the Doritos. And I was like, what? My mom has a whole box of these at home. I'm bringing more tomorrow, So I started slinging chips to all the stoners in high school. And I was 10 making some money. And that was when I got the first taste of what it meant to actually go earn and see an opportunity, present an offer and make money. And I wish I would have just stuck with that and followed it. But because of the beliefs of our parents or the tribe that's really raising us, saying, no, that's not secure, that's not a certainty, you should go do this instead, it kind of befuddled me a little bit. So it took a while for me to find that inner spark again. I truly believe that almost every kid probably has an entrepreneurial spirit. Like there's such an imagination. They are the ultimate creators of their world and they can create any world they want right here between the ears. And it's us grownups as big people that kind of limit them. And so my advice to all kids, I tell this to my kids all the time, find what you love to do and then figure out how to make money doing it. Instead of going out, getting a job, sometimes you might need to go do that first while building your passion on the side, which is the route I ended up taking. It was a safer route. It took me longer, but it was a safer route. But there's no matter what, there's a way to do it. So know what you love to do and then try to figure out how to monetize it so that you can live off of it.
Right. So how do you foster that? You said in your own children. I mean, are you doing anything on a regular basis with them to foster what they're passionate about?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best example is my youngest son. He's very interested in what I do from a mindset perspective. I'm an NLP master practitioner. I do breakthroughs on people with mental and emotional release. I do timeline therapy. I do hypnotherapy, sound healing, you name it. He's very fascinated about that. And so because he's into it, I feed him journals or workshops or Tony Robbins this or Dr. Joe Dispenza that. And he's doing all the courses and then I pay him for it. I don't pay him for chores. I'll pay him to read a book or take a class and then tell me what he learned and then show me how he can go help somebody else. And that's what we talk about. And I'll pay him to watch, ironically, one of my other kids wants to have his own business. He's constantly trying to figure out ways to do his own business. And 2 times now he has taken any money that he's earned and he's gone out and he's bought candy and he buys it wholesale or go to Dollar General or whatever. And then he goes to the park and he just sells it and he makes a profit. And he was really smart. And he said, I feel like I'm just doing this and it's really hot and there's a lot of work. And so I helped him sit down and figure out, how many of your friends want to go do this with you? And how can you split the profits? How can you guys put your money together and then go sell it together and then split it evenly? And they had a blast. They sold like $250 worth of candy and they had put in about $50. So they're learning, they're trying new things, and they're not afraid to fail, because I tell them failure isn't the option. You're going to try and you're going to learn. I mean, it's win or learn, not win or lose. And because they have that mindset, they don't have any fear.
Awesome. And do you see their friends coming to you and wanting to be a part of that excitement? And
Yeah, their friends always like to hang out, and they'll ask questions. We live in a neighborhood where there's like a lot of them. Everybody that lives in our neighborhood all goes to the same school that's down the street. Plus there's the elementary school and the junior high. So they're all in the same community as us. They all live in the same compound, if you will. So they're over here every day, all day, just running ideas. And I love it because they're growing up. I'm a Gen X. So I grew up, drinking water from the hose. I came home when the street lights came on, and it's just a different way of life. So when you come to my house, there'll be bicycles all over the lawn, and that's how you know where everybody is. Just like back in the 80s. So
Right.
I don't like them to spend a whole bunch of time on electronics. And if they are on electronics, then I want it to be something that they're solving, that they're using their brain, or they're working together with their friends to solve something. And because that helps promote creative thinking. So I'm all about how they're thinking and approaching their problems to get resolution and make sure that they're always staying focused on something, and it's going to keep them out of trouble.
awesome.
Yeah.
So with building 3 businesses now, I mean, what are some of the keys you learned along the way to really take those businesses beyond average, right? How do you make them special, unique, increase that value?
So all of my businesses are service-based. So we provide a service. None of them are product-based. So I can't really speak to selling a product. But I will tell you, if you are in the service business where you are providing a service for somebody, or a personal development business, which is my primary, or in the real estate business, we teach people how to buy apartment buildings. We're really serving people. And when you're serving somebody in a community, or when you're serving somebody that they're expert at what they already do, and now they're learning something new, but adult learning is hard. It's so hard because we're already a subject matter expert of what got us to the level we're at. And now we're trying to learn a new skill, but we forgot what it was like to learn. And we have these self-imposed limitations and expectations, if you will, of ourselves to just nail it right away. But there's really 90 days that it takes to really get your feet wet and understand, well, what are the rules? What are the boundaries? And what strategy should I use? And then what do I need to learn? And who's already doing it? And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned, is that when you can model and give a roadmap and say, let me eliminate all the confusion and chaos for you, do this exactly, and it's stair-stepped, it's A to Z, and it's a roadmap that they can follow easily, then you need a support system for them, because they're going to have questions. They're going to want to be able to interact with people that have already done it. And whether that's you or somebody that you've already taught how to do it, the new folks need access to people to see the proof, so that their hope turns into conviction that they too can have it, So the thing that I learned first and foremost is, when I was building my portfolio in real estate, I always longed for a community that I could just reach out and say, hey, Kristen, I have a rehab going on, and I don't know how to handle this contractor. He's saying this to me, and I don't know if I believe it or not. I didn't have a community back then. So I built this portfolio for over 20 years. And to not have anybody to reach out and bounce ideas off of, it made my journey harder than it needed to be. So my goal was, let me create a community where I'm gonna accelerate that learning curve for folks, because I'm gonna be able to give them a roadmap. I'm gonna show them exactly how to do it. I'm gonna raise killers that are already doing it. And then I'm going to incentivize those folks to turn around and help everybody else. So it's so important. I have 3 years. The average is 3 years in our academy. For example, year 1, they learn how to do small buildings. Year 2, they learn how to do a little bit bigger apartment buildings that they're using joint venture. And year 3, they're really mastering how to raise capital, how to syndicate deals, and how to go bigger. Every year, my students that have been with us, they've paid an average of $25,000 to $40,000 every year in tuition. By the 3rd year, when they've already got 250 doors and they've done really well for themselves, I will make them an offer. They never have to pay tuition again. They stay at my table. They're there forever. They're a part of me and my inner circle. And I want them to turn around and help the newer folks out. And those newer folks accelerate even faster than the first crowd. So what I'm noticing is there's this huge compound effect. as the older students that have been doing it for a long time keep helping the newer students are shortcutting that learning curve even more. So to begin with that first round, those guys, they were out there, they were doing it maybe in 6 months, 12 months. Now some of our folks are doing it in 3 or 4. And it's because they're getting the help they need. So when you're doing a business, it's important that you have the right culture for your team and have the right culture and create a community where people, they belong and they know they belong and they have what they need, because everybody will give up if they don't have that support structure.
Wow, so impressive. And all those magical words that coaches love is building that culture and focusing on the people, right? And giving them a career path, right? So they can see where they're going, and then having others mentor. So that is truly amazing. So have you ever calculated or thought about how many people you've helped to build their wealth?
Oh, it's in the thousands.
Really amazing. That gives me goosebumps just
Me too. And you want to know the coolest part? The coolest part, Kristen, is that we're taking over a company right now where it's basically teaching people how to hit their infinity investing number, where their infinity number means they don't really ever have to work again. Working would be a choice, but they've hit their number and now they can go do really cool things like in their community or help other people and just be a wealth circulator themselves. So it's very rewarding to do it that way.
Awesome. And it's truly inspiring. So to wrap up, do you have any last words that you would give an aspiring entrepreneur?
Yes, get started. Get started. Part of the biggest problem is that some people, they want to get it perfect before they take the first step. And I will tell you that messy action is better than no action. It really is. I've learned along that way that as long as you're taking a step, take a step every single day to get out of your comfort zone and move towards what you want to do. Because in order to have more, you got to be more. You got to become more. And what usually happens is they'll hit an obstacle, and instead of rising to the level of skill that's demanded of them to get to that level they want, they'll resort back to old habits that are comfortable. So get out of your comfort zone every single day. Do one little thing that's going to move you towards where you really want to be. And you will be astounded by what that looks like 365 days later. You'll be a different person.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jen. Truly inspiring, and congratulations on what you've built. And, what I love most is helping others build their wealth, helping all ships raise, right? So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Have a super day. And everyone, I hope you'll join us on our next episode.
Thank you.